This is Denmark Real. I am Amar Ahmed. My mission is to connect human beings all over the world. And I want you to be with me on this trip. Every week I'll be sharing stories from amazing guests. I believe that every one of us have something special, that every one of us have a story to tell and a song to sing.
I think we all need to learn that the world is big, the world is colorful, the world is fantastic. I tried to pretend that there's no problem for me, I could easily find my way, but I was really, sometimes I was perplexed and I didn't know what to do really, how to fit in. I've built bridges and I learned how to act and to cope and to be myself also.
What is a good life?
What is a good life?
Yeah.
Well, I wish I had a more expensive car and I wish I had more expensive things, but really those are not necessary for a good life at all. What I really think is living a life of purpose, of knowing I'm actually here to do something. As a pastor, what I really want is to help people to become better, to become a better version of themselves. Yeah, then some people will disagree, some people don't like what you're doing, and that's fine. You'll find some friends who really like you and who really want to support you in doing what you're doing. So I love to say yes. So saying no to me is really difficult, but I found out, also through ups and downs in life, it's really necessary to say no. You have to say no sometimes. Yeah. And they can kind of see these things on the scanning of the baby, that she has a kind of a bulge on her back, and there's something with her head also. So we were like, they're a young couple just getting ready to have a family, and then suddenly we are told, your child is probably going to be very handicapped. We can't put a gun to God's head and say, we want this to happen. There's something bigger for me. And I know the beautiful stories you hear in our lives are those people who you thought they were out and you thought they were finished, and then suddenly they come back, and they now come back stronger.
So this is Denmark Real. I am Amar Ahmed. With me is Orla Møller, a pastor and a leader of the Free Church in Horsens. So welcome to you, Orla.
Thank you so much, Amar. Good to see you. I've been looking forward to coming here and to talking with you.
Thank you. Me too.
Yes.
So I wrote a couple of things, and I need to hear about this.
Yeah.
Your first girlfriend was actually your wife.
Yeah. I never succeeded to get a girlfriend before I actually met my wife. I was 22 or 23 when I met her. And I had, of course, had some attempts to try to talk to a girl or to get her to like me, but it never succeeded. And my father always said to me that you just take it easy, God will provide. And I was thinking, no, I don't want God to provide. I'll take care of it myself. What if God brings me an ugly wife?
You wouldn't accept that.
No, that would not be good. So I tried myself, but in the end, I met a girl and we just talked, and I would never believe that she would like me. So we just talked as if we were friends. And then suddenly she actually expressed that she liked me. And I was like, this is amazing. And so we got to know each other, and then within less than 1.5 years, we were married. So that's my first girlfriend, and she's my wife today. We've been married for 22 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you. So it's really amazing. Yeah, so that's a really fantastic memory for me. It turned out my father was right, I think. Yeah.
Can you tell me about growing up, because you weren't living in Denmark, right?
No, I'm born in Africa. I'm born in Nigeria. My parents were missionaries. My father is from Denmark and my mother is from Germany. So they actually met each other in Nigeria. And so they lived there together, were married and stayed there for 17 years. My father was in Nigeria for 19 years. Wow. He worked with building churches, building clinics, schools, all kinds of things. And my mother was a nurse. So they spoke English together the first years of their life, while my mother tried to learn Danish and my father tried to learn German. Yeah.
But you spoke 4 languages at home?
Yeah, so my mother spoke German to us, my father Danish. We had English friends, and then we had Nigerian friends who spoke Hausa language. So these 4 languages were in our house all the time when we were young. And it's amazing because children, they just, we just adapt very quickly. Yeah. So it's more the grown-ups that later then have problems trying to learn new languages. But as you're a child, you learn quickly.
That's fascinating actually.
Yeah.
So I wrote actually, you have never saw yourself as a leader.
No, as I was growing up, no, I've always been interested in the creative things, you know, playing the guitar and painting, photography, and I was never really, you know, good at coming on time or being responsible or doing my homework. All these things that, you know, you need to do, I think, if you want to be a leader. So it was always my sister, my younger sister. I have two sisters, and my middle sister is very good. She's responsible, intelligent, always, you know, doing everything right, which is irritating as a big brother. So people always asked me whether she was my big sister, and I said, no, she's not. I'm the big brother. But no, she was just really always the natural leader, the one who was chosen to do, you know, maybe be in a committee or a board or lead something. So, but I always helped, always was full of initiative. And so I saw myself more as an assistant, I think. So if there was a leader, I would like to assist him or her. But I didn't really see, as I was growing up, even in my 20s, to see myself as a leader and a pastor. No, I didn't imagine that.
Wow.
Yeah.
What led you to that? Because you are now in Denmark, and how was it in Africa, in Nigeria, living in how was it like there?
Yeah.
I can't imagine it.
No, okay. Well, we returned to Denmark when I was 14.
Yeah.
And I lived actually most of the time actually away from my parents at a school. So I was at a boarding school because, and this is what many Europeans and Americans did. They didn't have their children maybe in just a local African school, but they sent them to like an international school. So I was sent when I was 6.5, actually sent 500 kilometers away to go to school. So this was very tough, of course, for me to start with. But you get used to it, and I actually really enjoyed being in that school. I learned so much about many different kind of people. You know, we had there was children of course, from many countries: Switzerland, Germany, U.S., the Philippines, Lebanon, Pakistan. You know, everywhere. So we had, you know, all kinds of religions, all kinds of people were together, and it's really, I think it was a blessing for me to experience that, to see that. That's what makes me a little bit sad when I meet Danish people who don't know anything but just being Danish. And I think we all need to learn that the world is big, the world is colorful, the world is fantastic. So this is what I learned in Africa.
Yeah, but when you came to Denmark,
yeah,
what I found when you attended the Lutheran school, you wrote that when you attended the Lutheran State Church, you couldn't recognize any power, joy, or life transformation.
Yeah, my parents were Lutherans, so we were attending a lot of that in the Lutheran Church, and also in Africa we were among what we call mainline denominations. That means the ordinary, usual is the Anglicans and the Lutherans and the Methodists. So we're attending those kind of churches. But I was introduced also to the Pentecostal church, and I attended some meetings there as a young child, maybe 10, 12 years old. And I just remember the power and the energy of them, the way they worship God. And it just really moved into my heart, really. I really experienced some kind of power from God there. And so when I came back to Denmark as a 14-year-old, 15-year-old, none of the people I was going to school with were actually, believing in God or reading the Bible or anything. And I was attending a church that was boring, and I said to my father, I'm not going to make it. I'm just really, I'm just feeling so empty, and there's nothing really, there's no life, no power, kind of. So, that's why I started to seek out maybe churches with a little more energy and life and power. So this was just so important for me, because I knew otherwise I think I would have lost my faith. I think I would have just left, the church and never come back if I had not tasted at some point that there is a power actually in the gospel, in the Bible, and in knowing God.
Because what is the Bible for you?
Oh, well, the Bible is really important. I mean, the stories in it, they reveal God, they reveal the personality of God, and they tell stories of people who lived with God and experienced God, even through difficult times. They still trusted God, and God helped them in the end. So this is also what we teach in the church, that no matter what you're going through, God is there beside you, and He's going to help you if you trust Him. And that's what I experienced in my life as well. Just when things were going tough, to continue to trust God.
Yeah. So it was a shock to come to Denmark and You see, the culture is totally different, and
It was really, yes, it was a shock. We talk about when missionary kids or military kids or diplomatic kids come back to their original culture, they get a shock, a culture shock.
yeah,
I can imagine also other people traveling around in the world, will find themselves where they don't understand what's going on.
yeah.
And so I was white Danish, and I thought I was Danish, but really there were so many things that were foreign to me coming to Denmark. The way the young people talked and related to each other and things they did, it was really strange. And I tried to pretend that it was no problem for me. I could easily find my way. But I was really, sometimes I was perplexed, and I didn't know what to do really, how to fit in.
Yeah, I remember when I came to Denmark, it was the same. Actually,
Yeah.
As 12 years old.
Oh yeah.
It was really difficult to figure out how to act.
Yeah.
I needed to act rather than just be myself.
Yeah.
So that was tough.
One thing that was a little bit funny was in Africa, and I'm sure also in many other cultures, it's really that the boys and the girls are held very separate. So boys and girls are not that much together. And so it wasn't like we weren't under any restrictions, but this thing was dating and stuff like that. It was, maybe somebody held the hand, or maybe just give a little bit of a kiss on the cheek or something, but there was nothing, it was really, boys and girls were not that much together at our school. And so coming to Denmark and going to what we call efterskole, it was a boarding school, kind of a Danish kind of boarding school. And, within 2 weeks, these couples they become boyfriend, girlfriend, they were kissing, they were lying on the sofa, they were, I was so shocked, my goodness. And what shocked me even more is that 2 weeks later, they then changed the boyfriend and the girlfriend, and then they were kissing with somebody else. And I was like, I cannot believe this. What is going on?
Because you were raised differently.
Yes, I was raised that we were supposed to be very careful with girls, very respectful of the girls. And, so also I saw some boys that were liking to fight with the girls and wrestle them. And I was like, why are you fighting with a girl? You're not supposed to touch a girl. And they're like, that's how we become friends. Oh, okay. Yeah. No, so there were so many confusing things. That was just kind of one of them where I thought, what is going on?
But you managed.
Yeah, so I think people thought I was a little bit strange, I think, I also spoke Danish with accent, a little bit of English accent in my Danish, which is also strange. So, but I think, I've built bridges, and I learned how to act and to cope and to be myself also. My wife is totally Danish, so, so it's natural for us.
Yeah, you met her here in Denmark at the age of 22, 23?
Yeah. So this was like in the middle of the 90s, I met my wife. And so she's totally Danish, had just done a few travels. When she went to Australia after we started dating. So, but otherwise, so she's just from Denmark. And so we found our way, and I think we have a good marriage, good life. Yeah.
What is a good life?
What is a good life?
Yeah.
Well, I wish I had a more expensive car, and I wish I had more expensive things, but really those are not necessary for a good life at all. What I really think is living a life of purpose, of knowing I'm actually here to do something. And I think this is a long journey for us to try to discover what is my gift. I met people when I was younger. Also, they knew what they were going to do. They did the right education. They immediately went to the career. They immediately started making a lot of money. For me, I was really just shifting around. I was trying to find out what I was supposed to do. I wanted to be a journalist. I wanted to do marketing and things like this. And I had my own company at some point, did some graphic design. But even this whole thing with becoming a pastor, it was not something I knew that I wanted to do, and I went for it. But I just tried to find out what is my road in life. And then we've just, also my wife and I have really agreed that we just want to serve. We just want to help. If anytime we can, we came to a new town, a new place, maybe a new church. Immediately we'll try to find out how can we help, how can we do something. And one of the teachings of Jesus is actually that you become a leader through serving. So Jesus said that the other people around you, the leaders around you, they want to be masters and they want to decide everything, but you should serve and thereby become a leader. And so this is what I've seen in my life. I've actually spent most of my life just helping as much as I can. And this is still as a pastor, what I really want is to help people to become better, to become a better version of themselves, to kind of flower, and blossom. This is what I really want for them to experience. And I think when you kind of step into that purpose, you have good people around you, good friends, good connections. To me, that's happiness.
Yeah, that is peace also.
Yeah, really, yeah. I don't have to be something, as you were saying, we don't have to act to be, I can just be who I am. And then some people will disagree, some people don't like what you're doing. And that's fine, you'll find some friends who really like you and who really want to support you in doing what you're doing. And I think we found a road together, my wife and I and some good friends. And now with the church in Horsens, we're just getting really, a lot of good friendships there. And, so I don't know Horsens really. We lived in Vejle for many years. Yeah. So Horsens is new to me, but every day I come here, I just love the city more. Yeah. I'd like to say to you, Horsens is a good city to come to.
It is. It has everything.
It really does.
Small, but has everything.
Yeah. We have the tortilla flats. We have the cafes.
You love that, right?
Yeah.
You like food?
Yeah, really. Yeah, I really like food. Yeah. So
enjoying life.
Yeah.
Through what it gives us.
Yeah. Yeah, and seeing people, maybe even like yourself, doing creative things, doing wonderful things. People doing art, people doing, trying to explore things in life. No, that's fun. That's good fun to watch. And I think before, maybe I wanted always, I want to do that too. I want to be good at this. I want to be good at this. I wish I was a better, photographer or whatever, filmmaker or anything. But I think when you hit 40, I'm 46 now. So I think when you kind of hit 40, you realize, okay, there are just some things I'm not good at, and I can't, let me just focus on what I need to do. I think that's a journey for me right now. It's really not try to do everything, but really try to focus in and say, okay, what am I supposed to do with my life? Yeah.
Focus.
Yeah, focus. I think really to find out, because people ask, can you do this? Can you help here? Can you do this? Can you come? And I love to say yes. And you might recognize that. So I love to say yes. So saying no to me is really difficult. But I found out, also through ups and downs in life, it's really necessary to say no. You have to say no sometimes.
I'm happy that you said yes.
Yeah, I'm happy as well. Yeah.
So can you tell me a bit about Sophia?
Yeah.
I read an article about her.
Yeah. So Sophia is our oldest daughter.
Yeah.
Yeah. We were married, so my wife was 19, almost 20, and I was 23, going on 24, when we were married. Or I was 24, I can't remember. Anyways, I'm 4.5 years older than my wife. And her mother, gave birth to her quite young. And so her mother was like, you guys need to have children young. And I was like, no, okay, well, let's just wait. So I finally convinced my wife, let's at least maybe 4 years, we should wait until we have children. So I think maybe 3 months later, after we were married, she got pregnant. So there was something we hadn't quite understood. No, so anyway, and it then turns out, and we're just happy, okay, expecting our child, and both of us are actually studying. And then in the 19th week of the pregnancy, we go for a scanning. And this scanning reveals actually that she has a very serious handicap. I don't remember what it's called in English, but the handicap is called spina bifida, so rygmarvsbrok in Danish. Yeah. And they can kind of see these things on the scanning of the baby, that she has a kind of a bulge on her back, and there's something with her head also. So there are many things that, the nurse called in a doctor to find out what's going on and to check, is this true? This doesn't really look so good. So we were they're a young couple just getting ready to have a family, and then suddenly we are told, your child is probably going to be very handicapped. And I remember seeing a TV show once with different kind of diagnosis for small babies, and I remember I saw a picture of spina bifida. It's really ugly. It's really bad. It's a hole in the back. Yeah. And the doctor said, we had an option to have the child aborted before week 21. So that's 2 weeks to decide whether we want to keep the child or not to keep the child. And as a Christian, we have usually a default setting that says, okay, of course, abortion is wrong. We should never do an abortion, because all life is given by God. And so, but we were there, and so it wasn't an easy choice. But we had to think, okay, what kind of life is she going to have? Of course, we're also concerned for ourselves. And Helle's doctor said, you're young, you should just, get rid of the baby and then start again. You don't want to have a handicapped child. And so we were like really, our parents, we talked to our parents, they were really supportive. They prayed for us. We talked to our church. We attended in Aarhus at the time. And they really just supported us to say, whatever you guys decide, we'll support you guys. So, and we were talking about it, and I said, we cannot demand of God you have to heal this baby. We have to make her well, otherwise we'll abort her. We can't put a gun to God's head and say, we want this to happen. So we decided, okay, then let God decide and let nature decide, because sometimes a baby will also die if it's not fit to live. And so we told the doctor, they asked us, what do you guys think? Do you want to keep the child? What do you want to do? And we said, listen, we're going to keep the child. And we're going to go through. And the doctors were really helpful. The minute we said we want to keep the child, they just, this is what's going to happen. Here's the children's doctor, here's the neurologist, here's the one who's going to operate, here's the physiotherapist. So they really did everything they could to help us to understand what was going on. And actually, they could not guarantee that the child would live. So when we gave birth to Sophia, when Helle gave birth to Sophia, actually through a cesarean, they immediately packed her in a bag, to keep her so the bacteria would not get to her back. So she was actually taken away from us immediately, to be cleaned and then to be put into, neonatal part of the hospital. For us it was really a miracle to see, is she going to survive? Is she going to make it? And the doctors came and checked her. The neurosurgeon came to check her up, and we could see her legs. Actually, her legs were not supposed to be working because the hole in the back would actually dysfunction the muscles in the lower body. But she was kicking with her small legs, and the doctor was, okay, wow, And so, she's really doing well, comparatively. And so when we got to another hospital where they're supposed to operate her, and this is called Neurologisk Afdeling in Aarhus. And this is usually a very tough place because many people are suffering, and people also die there, and people have very, difficult operations. So the mood was really depressed in this whole department of the hospital. But we came in, we were happy because we were just, our child is, is going to live and it's going to be great. So the nurses were like, what? You guys, And we said, no, but we were just told, our child is going to live and it's going to be fine, So we really believe, the prayers that she received, many people came to pray for her. Many people were there with us. Once again, it's the connections, it's the people around you who love you. So people came and, they just showed her love, showed us love. So, and she went through very tough operations. It wasn't, the problems were not solved like this, but we recognized that God was with us through all these things. And sometimes the nurses, even though they didn't have duty in our ward, they would sometimes just come in to us, just look at Sophia, because they said it's just like, she kind of like just radiates something. She just really just seems to be just a blessed child. So they would just come in and just suck up the mood and the environment, and then they'd go out again into whatever difficult thing. So we really just kind of experienced, God's presence was there even in the middle of difficult operations. And she, of course, suffered. But she's 21 years old now, Sophia, and doing well. Of course, she still has help to walk. Her feet, don't work properly. But otherwise, she's finished high school, and she's at the moment trying to find a job, so we're really thankful that we didn't decide to say she's not allowed to live. No, we let God decide.
I read some quotes on her Facebook account actually.
Yeah, oh, wow.
Beautiful.
Yeah,
and she sings also.
She sings. Yeah, she's really a good singer.
You did some songs with her also.
Yeah,
on the scene. On
yeah, we've performed with her. nothing really big, but no, she sings in the church in Vejle, where they are now. She and her younger sister, they sing together. And many people have been really blessed by her. They really just are touched. Also, as a small girl, she sang really, really beautifully. So they could see that she was, walking a little bit strange, and she's a little bit short, but people were just like, wow, she's amazing. So we're really thankful.
Yeah, the further I went back in time in her Facebook,
oh wow,
there was still beautiful quotes.
Ah, yeah.
And that amazed me because she have that awareness.
Yeah.
And that capacity to.
No, she's really positive.
Yeah.
Of course, there were times, then during school when things got tough, maybe the other girls, they wanted to play games where they had to run around. When they would play with dolls, and they did, things that didn't take that much activity, Sophia was fine. But the minute they wanted to run around and play ball or if they wanted to run after the boys, then Sophia had a tough time to keep up with that.
So her mental capacity went higher, maybe.
Yeah, she's fine, with her studies and things like this. Yeah, so it's a little bit complicated to explain, but sometimes the spina bifida is a really debilitating handicap where you sit in a wheelchair, and some even have, cannot concentrate or cannot do an education and something like this. So Sophia has been really privileged, and is doing really well. So we're thankful. Yeah.
So, was it the most challenging thing in your life? Was it that?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. I think so. Yeah. We were told, actually, so imagine we're just young married, and we're told by people, do you know how many people divorce after getting a handicapped child? The rate of divorce after getting a handicapped child is really high. So they're like, you guys, you can get a handicapped child, but maybe your relationship won't last, So, yeah, we really had to be aware of that. And I think the fact that we got Sophia so early and just really forced us to find out, okay, are we a team or are we not a team?
Yeah.
And so we found out we're a team and we're going to do this together.
She was a blessing.
Yeah, she was a blessing. But you had to decide, and my wife was really just so good at taking care of her and really doing, and she's also, of course, all the way up through her young years. And my wife has really been there for Sophia, helping her. And I've helped as best I can, but yes, really just decide to support each other, everything we do, to support each other in this, even though it's tough. So we believe actually that getting Sophia brought us closer together very quickly. Because I think if you're young, if you're like 20s, I have my friends here, you have your friends there, and we're just doing everything, whatever we want to do. I think some couples, they can have a difficult time finding each other because they're so busy doing their own thing. But we very quickly found out we have to do this together.
So one goal.
One goal, yeah. We need to do this together as the two of us.
Yeah.
And I think that built a kind of a team relationship for us. I think so, yeah. And so also in the church right now, my wife is really active as well. She plays the piano and she's helping with the children. And, she didn't even want to be a pastor's wife. She was like, oh no, Orla. When it turned out, okay, it's time for me to be a pastor in Horsens, she was like, oh, I do not want to be a pastor's wife. Drinking tea and, doing all kind of things, maybe knitting. And
so a boring
she said, oh, such a boring life to be a pastor's wife. But no, we really took some time to speak things through, and we really had to work through what is the purpose, what is our purpose of life now? Yeah. What are we going to do? And so Helle is a pedagogue. She's a children's educationalist working in a kindergarten. So that's her passion. She loves children, helping children. And then for her second passion is helping the church. And I'm so really grateful because, yes, she could have decided to say, okay, Orla, that's your thing. Whatever you want, you just do that, I'll do this. But we decided, no, we're going to do this together. So, no, this is really, really, I'm
that
really
is
happy
beautiful about it. Because you still stick together. And that's what I like.
We're really trying that, as much as we can. Yeah. So let me just get some coffee here.
Yeah. Yeah. Because how do you see the world? Because I read a quote about you saying, I'm passionate about open windows to the world, giving people the desire and opportunity to invest in something bigger than themselves.
Yeah. This is a quote from my work. Yeah. Yeah, I work as a graphic designer also in Aarhus, so I work at the church 50% and in another job 50% as well. And we were asked to describe what is actually what do you want to do, and yes, I would like to open the window for people, open people's lives. I get so sad when I see people just obsessed with themselves, just being home with themselves, and they just only want to take care of themselves, spend money on themselves, and it makes me really sad because the world is a big place, and there's so many needs, there's so many things that we can explore and do, and yeah, so if I can help people to move forward, in their lives, not stay stuck, but move forward, and I'm really sad. Sometimes I just see people who something has stopped them somewhere in their life. Maybe they were disappointed, maybe they were offended, maybe someone hurt them, and then they just stay there and say, okay, fine, I was hurt, I was disappointed, maybe I was discriminated. I mean, anything can happen to us in our lives. Someone did something bad to me, and so I'll just stay here. And I really want people to experience, to move forward. And this is where I believe actually also the faith in God comes in, because sometimes I cannot lift myself up sometimes. So that's why I need the faith in God to help me, to lift me up. Okay, something bad was done to me, but I can still move forward. I can still, there's something bigger for me. And I know the beautiful stories you hear in our lives are those people who you thought they were out and you thought they were finished, and then suddenly they come back, and they now come back stronger.
Because I see it like that the source of light is darkness.
Yeah.
That the sunshine is in a really, really dark place.
Yeah.
The universe is really dark.
Yeah.
And it shines through.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. When I hit rock bottom,
Yeah.
there was no way but up.
Yeah.
There was no way but shine.
Yeah. That's good. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So when it's in a dark place, you better can see the light. Then you can just push forward through that.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's true. No, I believe that we can be lights as well, all of us, reflecting light, from a higher source than ourselves. And when we do that, we can help shine each other. I've met you now, you've met me, and my hope is that we can actually leave each other a little more happy, a little more energized. This is what I like when I meet people, that we give each other something, and maybe you could also, each one of us could reflect on this. When I get into a room, when I go into a place, do I bring in a bad mood? Do I bring in some bad talk? Do I bring in some negative stuff? Or do I decide to walk in and say, okay, I'm going to contribute something beautiful here. I'm going to make people more happy, more energetic.
So this is a different approach, because usually people want something.
Yeah.
And you are here to add.
Yeah. I think, I also want things. I want people to like me. I want people to help me.
Normal.
But I really think that, it comes from us, as I said, serving. We come in and we do something. The types, they would just come into a room and they'll just sit down on the sofa and they hope, I hope someone comes with coffee for me. I hope someone takes care of me. No, I mean, those kind of people, you get tired of them. You get tired of them. The people who come in to say, hey, can I help you? Can I give you something? Can I do something? When they call you and say, I need help, you'll be there fast, because this person always helps. So when they need help, I'm going to be there as well.
When I discovered that, life becomes so easy. It became so easy. Because when you try to add, you are suddenly a part of everyone's life.
That's right. Yeah.
You are not in a competition to get that A degree or this job. You are actually part of everyone. Yeah. And you don't feel alone anymore.
Yeah. No, that's true.
And that is the beautiful about it, because this loneliness is because we are in competition all the time. Yeah. That's how I saw it.
No, you're right. Yeah. Yeah. We're always comparing with this one and that one, and so even among some of my friends who, have achieved much more success than I have, I still know that when I visit them, of course they live in a more beautiful house than me, whatever. It doesn't matter, because I know that they enjoy my company because I contribute something to them that has a value. Yeah. And it doesn't have nothing to do with money. It has to do with your person and the things you've decided you want to do with your life.
Because the real value lies within us, right?
Yeah, definitely.
And if we can secure our humanly needs,
Yeah.
then everything above that is just extra. It's just bonus.
Yeah. Yeah, we're so privileged to live here in a country where we don't have to be afraid of things. We can, we can build anything we want to build, and we can, we'll be taken care of.
Yeah.
So when we in our country here are a little bit disappointed and sad, it's really, we have no excuse for that. Really, we need to look and see how privileged we are. Other people are suffering, we're doing well, and I think we should practice gratitude. Yeah.
So what would you advise? What would you advise us to do? Let's say the 20 years old out there.
Yeah. One thing I was not very good at, I think, is in my young years. I didn't want people to kind of give me advice or something. If they were telling me, if I was doing something, a project, or if I was, and people say, "Oh man, you should do it like this. You should do it. Maybe you should change this." I was like, "No, let me do this." So I kind of was really stubborn. I wanted to do things myself, my own way. And I've later discovered maybe I should have listened to some people. So I think that if you're out there, you're 20-year-old, you're young, maybe even 30-year-old. You need to find somebody who can help you and whose advice you'll take, because there's some people out there, they actually want to do something good for you, and too many times we say, well, whatever, I don't just do my own thing, and then you'll just crash and you wonder what happened, why didn't I listen? So that would be my advice to myself as a young person, to really make sure I listen to people. Also the older, I have some good friends, or my parents' friends, who wanted to help me with some things, and take time to learn from them. I think it's really important.
Yeah, because they have experience. They are ahead a lot, many years actually.
And today I'm as old as my parents' friends were that time, and I would like it if some people would maybe listen to some of the experiences that I have, and I think I could be able to help some people as well. But I think it's difficult. We always like to do our own things, our own way, and I think it's important that we listen to people who, even our friends who have some advice to give. It's really important we are open.
But Orla, when we bring the word religion or God, usually people just go black. They don't want to talk about it.
No.
And also in this, hopefully they will listen, because usually it's not always about the religion, but about the principles behind it, right?
Yeah, so I was a little bit, because it's not supposed to be this is not a Christian program, but I just want to say this has actually helped me, that the feeling of God being there to call me, to help me out, to give my life purpose has been something good. And I think it'd be really bad of us if we don't share what we think is good. So if you have a good advice, you have something you've experienced, you'll share it with somebody. Say, I really like this. Look at this, and people, they will tell each other, I'm going to yoga, or I'm going to this thing, meditation, whatever, because they think this is helping me, or to the fitness center. And I was okay, well, let me find out. Let me see. Maybe it's something for me. So this is also how I like to talk to people about religion, that people can actually search inside themselves to find out what's going on. The things in my life that I can't explain that have happened, where are they from? Is there something bigger than me? Is this world just like this, or is there something bigger? I spoke to a young couple who had a child, and they wanted to maybe have a child baptized, or they wanted to have it blessed in our church. So we don't baptize children in our church, but we dedicate them and bless them. So they were kind of finding out, but they didn't really believe in God that much. But then I actually spoke to them about the universe, because, that the universe actually, wants something from us, and it can actually give something to us. And I know some people say, oh, no, don't mix up with God and the universe. But I think some people today understand the universe. So you'll find on YouTube, someone would say, the universe helps thankful people. So the universe appreciates happy people or thankful people, and the universe will always help them. And so sometimes if I talk about the universe, then people, okay, what is that? And then I can say, okay, well, what is the universe? I mean, I believe that's God.
This is the new word.
I think it's a new word that people can understand better.
Because people call it Tao, call it it God, call it the energy of the universe.
Yeah.
You can call it whatever you want.
Yeah.
The idea is that there is something there that could bring us the things we want,
That's really good. That's really good.
and without any effort.
Yeah.
That was what I discovered.
Yeah.
Without any effort, we could actually get what we want.
Yeah.
And I meet up with the persons that I want to meet, and that is the beautiful about it.
Okay. Yeah.
Instead of chasing it,
Yeah.
I stop,
Then suddenly, yeah.
and everything appears.
Okay.
And the same with the girlfriend, right?
Yeah. Yeah. That's true. Yeah. Well, that's true. You're right. When I stopped chasing a girl, then suddenly she was there.
And I realized that when you stop looking for your keys,
Yeah.
they are there.
Your car keys? Yeah.
Everything.
Everything. Wow.
Everything. When you give up, but you cannot give up on purpose. You cannot give up intentionally. You have to give up because you cannot find it.
Ah, wow. Okay,
And you
that's a
find
good
it.
thought. That's a good thought.
It's
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah, really.
Yeah. What is success for you?
Success is actually when somebody wants to pay me to do what I really like to do.
That's beautiful.
So, I was speaking to a man today, and he's trying to help up some people in Africa with some businesses, and what is really stopping him is from moving better and further is actually that he can't find any way to make money from it. There's no one who wants to pay him to do it, but he has some talents that he can really employ, and so what he's trying to find out now is, I'm really good at this, but how can I live from this? Because one thing is to help everybody, but you have to eat food as well. You can't just live home with my sister, I have to, provide a life for my family. So I think this is a big challenge for many of us, because I want to do something I'm passionate about. And some people are lucky, or they're fortunate, they find it quickly. They're passionate about computers or whatever, and or hairdressing or whatever. They just move into that, and they make money. But for me, it's been a long journey to find out, okay, what is it exactly I'm good at? I'm okay at this. I'm okay at doing communication and graphic design. I'm okay at working in the, and actually to finally find out that, wow, maybe being a pastor, maybe leading a group of people who want to move forward in knowing God, maybe that's what I'm supposed to do. And then finding out how the doors open to that. And the church did not have very much money to start with. So, I started with at a lower percent, 30%, and then the next year 40%, and the next year 50%. So we've moved forward. But I'm finding real joy in doing this, and I'm actually really happy that I actually can, someone will pay me to work with these things that I really love to do. So for me, that's all I want. If I can work with what I love, and I can provide for my family, that's really fantastic. And then I always have some goals. I'd like to become a better speaker. I'd like to, be able to, maybe speak to more people or encourage more people, help more people. And if there's a platform for me somewhere, I pray that it will open for me. But again, I'm not pushing it. I'm not trying to force my way into something. If I have a speaking engagement and it's 20 people, I'm fine. If I can speak to 500 people, it's fine. But the way I'm going to get better is actually by then practicing, improving myself, researching, preparing, all these things. And someone said that, good fortune or good luck always finds those who are prepared.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does. Yes.
Yeah.
This is a fun question.
Yeah.
Yeah. If I was a genie, what would you ask for?
Oh, if you're a genie. Yeah.
Asking you.
Yeah,
if I was a genie. So.
Yeah, I found you, right? I found you in the lamp, and then you came out.
What would you ask for?
Oh wow, yeah. I would of course ask maybe for a big house on an island. I think that'd be nice, where there's the sunshine. And I don't. Yeah, just. I think I just would like to enjoy life, travel, see some things. I think experience the world in some way. Magic carpet, big house, something like that. So I don't know. I'm really happy as I am where we are at now in our lives, the way the road we've traveled. So anything that can kind of make life a little more sweet in any kind of way, I think that's cool. But it's not necessary for me. I'd like to travel more. One thing that happened when you get a child early and the child needs care, then when we saw kind of our friends, maybe they young couples, they went on interrail, or they went traveling, or they went to America for 6 months to just enjoy themselves. We were kind of a little bit, you know, when you have children, you're kind of there, you know, you can't just be doing all kinds of things, you know. So that's maybe for us now, a little bit later in life, to figure, okay, I would love to travel a little bit more, see some things, you know. But I think time will come. We'll get the opportunity to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because would you change anything about having Sophia, about that choice? Looking from the view of now.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I mean, you know, even before she was born, we prayed that she could become healed, and we also asked God to heal her on several occasions. We've had people pray for her who you know, were really good at, you know, praying for the healing power of God, but you know, really not that much happened to help her. And at some point, you kind of say, okay, fine, you know, we don't want Sophia to think that we are unhappy about her life. So the balance is, at the same time, being in faith and expecting God can do something, God can heal her, God can change things, but at the same time, being satisfied with where we are. We're happy, we love her, you know, and also for her to love her life, because if she's always thinking, oh, I wish I was different, I wish something else, you know, she'll also have a little bit more unhappy life if she's always hoping for something else. So, but Sophia, you know, someone once asked her, you know, do you want to be healed? And she says, well, you know, it would be nice, but, you know, I'm used to being, this is how I am. Where the way I am, the way I walk, the way I do things, this is who I am. So I'm used to that now. And so for her, it's not a desperate thing that she should be healed. We believe also, of course, on the other side of death, when we move to heaven, then she'll of course be healed. She'll be totally perfect. Yeah.
Yeah. Who's dearest to your heart?
Who's dearest to my heart?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you know, our family, my wife, you know, our friends, the people that we're doing life with. Those people are close to us, are dear to our hearts. And someone said that it takes a long time to get old friends. You know, if you had friends a long time, you know, and one thing on friendship. Really, we've sometimes discussed also at home who are our close friends, and which friends are maybe a little bit further away, and who do we really consider close. And I have some friends also from my time in high school and from other places we've lived. But it's funny, maybe you have many friends at a time, and then when you move or you do something else, then the amount of friends is reduced to maybe just one couple or one, you know. And so in your life, as you move on, you know, maybe you find out, oh wow, my closest friends, they're revealing themselves because, they're really revealing themselves because they're there. Yeah. And one thing I think the modern person, and maybe the young person today, will be a little bit too quickly to, these people, you know, I don't like them, they said something bad, and you know, and then we just go, okay, whatever, I don't want to talk to them anymore. And I think we have to give each other a chance, because, you know, good friends know each other's weaknesses. So some of my really good friends, they know me, they know, you know, what I'm not good at, and I know what they're not good at. But then instead of using that against each other, then we actually try to help each other. Yeah. And so if you're looking for the perfect friend, and the perfect couple, and the perfect ones who can no, you can't find them. You can't find them. But you can build long-lasting friendships. Yeah. You know, and so I imagine when we're old one day, you know, we're not sitting alone, but we're sitting with our friends who have grown old together with us. You know, to me, that's a beautiful thing.
Relationship.
Yeah.
Orla, thank you for being here with me.
Thank you. Wow,
thank you for the story.
Thank you. It was a pleasure to be here. Thank you.
Thank you.
Come on. Thank you.